Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, the year of the wolf continues. Okay, so I've been looking at the next units to paint. I know I was going to paint my rhinos, but I have abandoned that, and I've decided to paint all of my original models from the 13th company Eye of Terror Codex first. So I'm going to look at some heavy support because I think I need that to go alongside my grey hunters, so when I start playing, at least I've got some nice long range decent firepower. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you these models, and to be totally honest with you, I'm going to be looking for some feedback on these. So especially if you're a Space Wolves player, please stay with me on this, and as I said, I'd be fantastic if I could get some feedback from you guys. Okay, so the 13th company, fluff-wise, the only heavy support choice that I had in that original Eye of Terror army was Longfangs. Now, they used to be really expensive Longfangs. 4 last cannons and the pack leader used to cost about 248 points just for one unit, so a huge points investment. Obviously, that's not the case now. They're a lot cheaper than they were. Now, I made this army, like I've always said, a long time ago. It is heavily converted. All these models here are really converted, but it was a time before I knew pretty much nothing about Space Marines, and I certainly knew nothing about magnets. Now what I've done is I've made myself 4 squads of Longfangs. I'm going to show you these closer in a second, but I've got 4 squads of 5 men, 1 pack leader and 4 heavy weapons in each unit. Now that was the maximum you can take. Now I appreciate now in the new codex it's 5 heavy weapons, the pack leader, and I believe there's another special character thing as well. Feedback required on the best way to kit out a unit of Longfangs, please. That would be awesome. So like I said, it was in the days before I knew much about anything, and I knew I obviously wanted to keep my options open. So what I did is I made a unit of last cannons, a unit of missile launchers, a unit of plasma cannons, and for some reason I made myself a unit of heavy bolters as well. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why. Now when I played these guys unpainted, obviously in the previous codex, not the current one, I was basically proxying all of the models for missile launchers. I mean, I was basically using just missile launchers, maybe 1 or 2 last cannons in there as well. So I need feedback really on what you think I should do with these models. I have been collecting some missile launchers, so I've got a few spare. I just don't know what to do with them, whether to swap them out, change them up, or just keep them as they are. 1 unit of each. I mean, missile launchers, last cannons are the obvious 2 options. Plasma cannons are fun to use, and I think I would probably use them. Heavy bolters, I just don't know that I would. But let me show you the models, and then, like I said, if I could get some feedback, that would be awesome. Okay, so let me just zoom in a bit. So I'll start with the missile launchers. So I've got a mixture of chaos and normal marine launchers. So I've got this guy here, so he's obviously holding the marine one, and I've got the chaos shoulder pad, chaos leg. As I said, these are heavily converted. Got some green stuff there for like a belt holding this sword. The main issue that I'm also going to have as well is painting these guys, because obviously where they're holding the heavy weapons, let's show this one. So he's got a chaos missile launcher just on there, wolfed up a bit with a wolf tail. Again, I've switched all the legs up and stuff. But yeah, painting is going to be really hard, I think, on some of these guys. So I also need to consider the fact that I might have to start like pulling them apart to try and get into the nooks and crannies. Got this guy here, he's holding the missile, just about to load the launcher up. So I don't know how you guys do it. Are you able to paint your heavy weapon men with the weapons like all glued and attached? Another chaos one there. That's a cool weapon. And I don't know, it looks very, very difficult. These don't look too bad. Some of the other weapons I've got are very, very difficult. So I've got those 4 missile launchers with, of course, the pack leader. That's there. Then let me show you the last cannons. So I have a Chaos last cannon. And again, his arm is in there. I mean, possibly might be able to paint that, but that's going to be tough. So I've got that one, and that one, another Chaos orientated one. Obviously, being 13th Company, they are using Chaos weapons, where they've been locked in the Eye of Terror. They've been stealing all the Chaos weapons and armour, which is why you see a load on mine. And then the Imperial last cannon. That's going to be tough to get into paint in some of those areas. Obviously, where I've got metal and plastic, I have pinned these as well. So ripping them off when they're all pinned, and they're quite difficult to actually get into the right place as well. So I think if I do start ripping them off, I think that's going to be a mission and a half. But then look at this guy. I mean, that gun is totally covering up the face and the body underneath. That's going to be a mission just to paint that. So I'm really not quite sure what to do. Very interesting to see, obviously, the woven models been released. Well, by the time when I'm making this video, they've just been leaked, the pictures, which is very, very interesting, obviously, from my point of view, because it is basically my army. So I'm looking forward to find out what happens with them. So that's them. And then I've got plasma cannons. Now, for some reason, I don't know why. Maybe I couldn't find any Chaos plasma cannons. I'm not sure, but I haven't got any Chaos plasma cannons in this unit. They're all Imperial. But there you go. That's the plasma cannon guys. Again, you know, converted with Chaos gloves and heads and stuff. That's that one. Obviously, if they are going to introduce an actual woven unit, then my woven models that I've got, the old ones, I might have to reconsider, because my plan was to convert them all up into blood claws. But of course, if the woven unit is coming back, then that's obviously not going to happen. I'll just use them for woven. I suppose I could use the new models, which have just been released, as woven, and then use my old woven as blood claws, but I'm not sure yet. I'll have to see. That's that guy. He's got a bullet hole in his shoulder pad there that I did ages ago. I will have to do some more battle damage. I was very cautious about battle damaging these at the beginning. I do tend to add more battle damage as I paint them up. And that's the pack leader. I'm going to have to go in and drill out all the gun barrels and stuff, because again, I never did that in those days. And then this is the Quandra unit, potentially the last unit, the heavy bolters. So got an array of different heavy bolters, and again, I mean, these heavy bolters are huge weapons. That is going to be tough, painting behind that heavy bolter. Almost impossible. So I really don't know what to do. There's that one there. I suppose I could just paint them up in the weapons that they are at the moment and proxy them still. I don't know if I'd like doing that, but I know my buddies wouldn't be bothered. You know, I could put down all these weapons and say, right, every single weapon there is a missile launcher, and he'd say, okay, and I'd get away with it as such. But I don't know if I really want to do that. You know, being WYSIWYG is always good. It's got very cool Chaos bolt gun, heavy bolter on there. It's got something sort of like monster on the front of that, and it's cool. So that's that guy. And then this one. He's got some muscles, that guy, holding the gun up like that. His wrist must be killing him. So that guy, and then the last pack leader. that dude there. So that is my Longfangs. As I said, I've got a few quandaries there. Let me just bring them in to play. Okay, so that is my blob of Longfangs. So what I really need is some feedback on that. Should I just try and rip all the arms off and just make them into missile launchers? Shall I just paint them as they are? Be more fluffy with the army? Do I need more? So should I be going for units of 5 rather than 4? Is it worth taking that extra character that's in the units? You know, tell me about that, please. I'd be very interested to hear that. What I am going to do painting wise, believe it or not, is I'm going to paint all of these guys in one go. Yeah, that's going to be a mission. So there's going to be, well, at the moment, that group there is what, 20 guys. Now I've only obviously painted units of 10 previously with the Space Wolves, so painting 20 in one massive batch is going to be tough, but I think it will be worth it, because although it will obviously take me quite some time, when they're done I'm going to have a huge chunk of my army done, you know, all the heavy support choices, and then 3 groups of Grey Hunters and then 3 HQs, and I'll be prepared, ready for my fluffy game, which I've got coming up against Ace Face later in the year. So that is it for this Space Wolves update. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you in the next video, of course, but until then,